As you can probably tell, it's a lot greener now than the last time I was here. There's still some trees that hadn't quite leafed out yet, like this one right here. There's some on it, but not everywhere. But I suspect very soon there will be a lot more greenery here than there is now. So spring has definitely arrived. Beautiful to look at. Like a new place. If you've been, when you come here in the winter time when everything's dead, like some of these limbs right here that are still not quite leafed out yet, and everything looks that way in the winter time. So come in here and it's all green. And then of course you have the fall when it's all the different colors as well. However, there are a few different colors here. Let me see if I can zoom in right here. Right there you can see a dogwood tree, and that's white. And I'm not sure what kind of tree that is, but there's pink flowers on that. That's on the other side of the river. I should say the other side of the creek. Not a river, I sometimes call it that, but it's just a creek. But you can see those colors as well. Pink and white over there. And there's a few other dogwoods around. And this is just one of my places I usually go walk at, but you don't see that over there very often. You can occasionally see some other colors out here as well. And up in the sky, most of what you see a little bit of blue through there, but it's mostly cloudy. We're supposed to get rain today. Hopefully it'll wait till I'm finished filming before the rain begins. You see the sun breaks through every once in a while. There's the pine tree with the 3 roots coming out. Yeah, walking through some spider webs here today. They've got their webs built across the path. If I see it off the path, I wouldn't bother them, but coming through here, they're in my way, and I'll walk through them. Right here, I've never been down through here before, and I'm not going to go right now either, but right here there's steps. They kind of made steps down there. I think what mostly goes on down there is people go down there to fish. At certain times of year they can trout fish around here. But if you wanted to go just to stand on the bank of the creek, the sun has come out. It's very bright now. Now at times like this where it's this warm outside, and it is pretty warm today, times like this, and I'm very watchful for snakes that are out here. It could be sitting somewhere warming, although it's so cloudy today. It may not be out. But one is always advised to be mindful that is a possibility. Just want to be on the lookout for them. Thing about my statement on snakes, well, non-poisonous ones are not, you don't have to worry about them so much anyway. But my statement on, say, the poisonous ones, which around here would be rattlesnakes and copperheads mostly, and I guess near the water here, water moccasins possibly. Thing to be, my rule of thumb on the snakes is the snake you see is not the one you have to worry about. It's the one you don't see. So that's why you keep your eyes open. You want to keep your eye where you're walking. You don't want to put your hand anywhere you don't see where you're putting it. You don't want to put your foot anywhere like that unless it's an absolute necessity, and you kind of take the chance. Right here, See some flowers down here. There's little purple, kind of bluish purple flowers down here. See them quite often as I'm walking out here. You see the sun kind of, or not the sun really, but the blue sky breaking through the clouds there. And the sun is too, it's right above me. Now right here, when they start blooming out, there'll be some honeysuckle on these vines here. Well, you can see them here. There's some, it's like some butterflies kind of flying around there. I've seen some bigger ones in some other places. I'll walk back this way. I usually don't walk this far. Usually I'll take this path right here, which takes you to where sometimes you'll see campers if you've watched some of my other videos. But I'm going to walk this way just a little bit. See if I can get this on camera right here. Now, he flew off. It was a bumblebee. He didn't want to be on camera. He's a little camera shy. But there are right here more of these flowers. There's a bunch of them in here. Oop, wrong way on that. I meant to pan out. Giving my hand a little bit of a rest. Changing it to my left hand just for the moment. And here's a sweet gum. Sweet gums have a distinctive, very distinctive look with their leaf. It's almost like a starfish. And the smell is even more distinctive. It's got one of the sweeter smells you'll ever find with a leaf. Let me get down. There's some more of those flowers there. These give a lot of color here, as well as the green that you see here, as I mentioned, as well as the pink and white that we saw. You see those as well. We're back here again at the creek. And you've seen me back here before. I've done some other videos back this way before. Not with this camera, but with my phone camera. I've been back here before. Yeah. Here's the color I don't like seeing here. Whatever, that's kind of bluish and clear, but it's not the color so much, it's the fact that it's litter. People choose to, unfortunately, litter on these places. A lot of rocks over in here. Right, now we'll go back the other way. Now, I do not know who put that rock there. I did not do it, in case you're thinking I did this on purpose. Let me get my shadow on it so it can be seen better. That rock, if you're familiar enough where I'm from, looks very much like the state of Georgia, my home state. I don't know if that was put there on purpose or not, but that's well, somebody did that because I didn't put it there. But like I said, it's nice you see things that look different shapes, and there's one that looks very much like the state of Georgia. Yep. Back out here. I would take it out of here, but that way everybody else can see it. And plus they have a rule here that you're not supposed to remove the rocks from here. And I respect that. People, I'm sure, break that rule quite a bit, but the idea is you don't want to mess up the ecosystem here. That's not the worst rule that gets broken in here is the littering rule. There's an old saying about when you're out in the wild like this, is to take nothing but memories and leave nothing but footprints. Unfortunately, not everybody adheres to that, especially not the second one. I have taken that walking stick you've seen me with. I did carry it out of here. That's a dead piece of wood, though. People do that quite a bit. That wood disintegrate. Right here you can see please do not remove rocks from this trout habitat structure. So that rock was actually not in the stream, so I guess I could have taken it, but nonetheless, I kind of like to leave it there. Now over there, where I'm doing this, there's something that has some white on it. I don't know what kind of tree that is. It's on the other side. There's this tree that's in front of me is kind of blocking it a bit. But that is there's some color there as well. Well, during this time that I'm doing this, today is April the 12th, and it is, in the Western calendar at least, this is the time we call the Holy Week or the Passion Week, commemorating the last week of the life of Jesus on the earth, on his earth, between the triumphal entry, which would have taken place on Sunday, on Palm Sunday, as we just celebrated a couple of days ago, and the resurrection the following Sunday, Easter Sunday. And I was reading in the Gospel of Matthew some of the about what happened during that week, and you can go in there and read it, of course, yourself. What all had taken place, basically from the 21st chapter. I'm just using Matthew here, from the 21st chapter to the end. And as I was reading it, the part I was sort of stood out is the story of the cleansing of the temple. That's a picture. A lot of people, they know about it because it's not the picture of Jesus we often think about. It's often the meek and lowly Jesus that people want to talk about, but this Jesus that you see there, what he did there was a little bit different. And he goes in there and he sees people selling what is most probably what they were selling were like sheep and goats, lambs. There's some more pink flowers over here, by the way. More of the pink on that tree. I don't know if it shows up real well how it's pink there, but you can see some more of it over there. Some of it's a little bit lighter pink, so it doesn't show up near as well. But at any rate, what Jesus was, that was what the trader, the money changers, as they're often called, were selling, were the animals for sacrifice. And he goes in there and drives out the money changers. Let me pause just a second before I talk some more about that. This is a buckeye tree. Now, I just found out yesterday that this was a buckeye. I thought it was a hickory tree. The leaves are very similar. Because this right here, what you see right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 5 leaves there. That's actually just one leaf. Those are called leaflets, and all together they make one. And then you have the sort of the red flower there on top. But that's a buckeye tree. And right here, I don't know if it's showing up well or not. Let me see it moving around there. There's a spider. There's a spider web there. All right, well, back to what I was talking about from the Bible, from the Gospel of Matthew, is Jesus cast out these money changers in the temple. They were selling sacrifices, and he says to them, when he cast it out, he says, "My house is to be called a house of prayer for all people, and you have turned it into a den of thieves," or some versions say a den of robbers, which is Jesus is quoting 2 different places in the Old Testament when he says that. One of the quotes is from Isaiah chapter 56, where he says, "My house is to be called a house of prayer for all nations." And the second quotation is from Jeremiah chapter 7, where he talks about that the people have made it a den of robbers, talking about the temple. And the Isaiah quote, it's in the latter part, of course, of the book of Isaiah. Isaiah has made somewhat of a point that the people of Israel are to be a light unto the Gentiles, unto the nations, to the other nations around, that they would see the light of the Lord. So in Isaiah, and this is actually in several parts of the Old Testament, but in Isaiah that's kind of explicit is what is being said, is that that the Lord was not just the God of Israel, but the God of all of mankind. God had revealed himself to Israel that he was the creator of all mankind, and his intention was that all men worship him, that all men come to worship him. It was not just that he was the God of Israel. And so Israel was to let the light of the Lord shine for the Gentiles. They were essentially priests. He had made the Levites the priests to Israel, but Israel was to be the priest to the world. They were to be the ones that demonstrated God unto the world. And so he says, therefore my temple, my house will be a house of prayer for all nations. Here again, we've come back on this where the pink and white flowers are there. He says, it's to be a house of prayer for all nations. In other words, the idea was you're to be a light to the Gentiles, and then they come to my house and pray to me there. They don't go pray to their other gods, to the idols that they had worshipped, but if they come to my house and pray to me. So Jesus